How many of you heard of a guy by the name of Gideon? Let me see your hand. Most of you. The other ones that didn't raise your hand, I'm just going to guess you just didn't raise your hand. Everybody's heard of Gideon. And it's no coincidence that as part of the Black Robe Regiment, there's a pledge at the bottom. It's called the Gideon's 300 Pledge. And for those of you who have not joined the Black Robe Regiment, I'm honored to tell you my commanding officer will be here today, and I'm going to give him my time slot this afternoon. You're going to hear some things and learn some things. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. But we're looking for ministers, and we're looking for patriots, people that will engage outside the four walls of the church, that will begin to speak truth into the marketplace, into the workplace, into the educational system, whatever your sphere of influence might be. Pastor Jack's going to talk later about the 1607 covenant, and they also have the Gideon's 300 pledge. So to make this tie together for what this is for, you know, there's not 30,000 people screaming and chanting USA here today. Oh, it'd be nice if there were. But this is Frederick County, Virginia. And some of you come from other places. I know Pastor Jack lives over in Loudoun County. Some of you other ones from down Front Royal. And there's different people that are represented from different areas. But when the Midianites were overrunning the people of Israel, they had no mercy. They were stealing everything that they could steal. They'd come in and raid to the point that they were having to hide in caves and in holes in the ground to avoid the enemy. And I'm not trying to be full of doom and gloom, but at the rate we're going now, if something doesn't turn around, some of us are going to be looking for a place to hide because it's not safe to just go about your normal daily life. It's not safe to go around your normal business. And that's not what this country was founded on. That's not what we believe in, and that's not what we want to accept. Well, the children of Israel, just by degree, kept accepting and accepting until they were completely overrun. And I have to ask you today, is that what we want to have happen to us? Because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work it out that that's been what's going on, that by degree, step by step, they're working the plan, and they're getting really close to completely wiping us out. If we don't stand up and if we don't answer the shofar call and we don't say for the Lord and for Gideon that we don't do our part, we're not going to get free. Now, God could do it without us, but He chooses not to. That may come as a shock. God needs partners in the earth. Not because He can't do it by Himself, but because He gave the earth to the children of men. And the last time I checked, we're all a part of the human race, so this is part of our responsibility is to partner with God. So God called Gideon. Here the guy is hiding in a wine press threshing his wheat. Now, for those of you that don't understand ancient agriculture, when you were going to thresh your wheat, you would go up onto a hilltop where there was wind blowing, and you would have the wheat as it's laying there. You have to get the heads, the kernels of the wheat to separate from the chaff. So you get that part done, then you have to winnow it. And winnowing is when you throw it up into the air and the wind will blow the chaff away and the kernels of wheat fall back down onto the ground for you to be able to collect. How well do you think it worked trying to thresh wheat in a wine press? Why was he in a wine press? Did he not have enough sense to know how to thresh wheat? No, he was doing it because he was afraid and he was trying to hide from the Midianites. So while he's hiding and he's trying to thresh his wheat in the wine press, the angel of the Lord shows up. He says, "Hail, thou mighty man of valor." And I can see Gideon looking around and say, "Who you talking to? Huh?" Maybe today you feel that way. Who am I? I'm the least of the least, basically, is the short answer for the story, the conversation that took place with Gideon and the angel. But Gideon says, okay. So he goes out, he blows the shofar, everybody heard it, and everybody within earshot that heard that come crowding in, and he says, look, we're going to rise up, we're going to take back our land. We're going to take it back from the Midianites. Or we can call them today Midianites. Huh? We missed our fake news representative. I mean, I don't know what happened with that one, but he didn't show up. So anyway, yeah, we're calling out the Midianites. So all these people show up, and I mean thousands and thousands and tens of thousands. I forget the exact number. The Lord tells Gideon, you got too many people. He's like, what? We're up against this huge host. This isn't even really enough. God says, no, you got too many people. Tell everybody that's scared, go home. So he says, if you're afraid, you can go home. And most of them turn around and left, the vast majority. So now he's got an even smaller number. God said, still too many. Take them down to the brook, and the ones that I show you, those are the ones you're going to take. So they go down to the brook. He said, every man that laps the water out of his hand like a dog, that's the ones you pick. So being a soldier, you don't take your eyes off the front. You don't go to the water hole, take off your hat, and just bury your face like this. Why? Because now you're vulnerable. You don't have your head on a swivel. That's not a defensive position. So out of all of those people, only 300 guys had a hand on their sword, down on one knee, going. Why don't you do that with me? Eyes up, watching your front, engaging the adversary, being ready at a moment's notice. So 300 guys. That's all God needed. Because God doesn't need massive multitudes of numbers. He needs a remnant that'll be committed.
That's right.
I ask you today, did you come to be a spectator, or did you come to learn how you could participate and engage? We only need just a remnant. So while we may not see hundreds and hundreds of people in here, there's enough people in here that if you'll get serious and you'll partner with God and do your part, God will partner with us and he'll do the rest. Because if we don't get God involved in this is too big for us. There's no way we're going to win. The deck's stacked against us. It has been for a long time, and you're going to find out some things today about how the deck's been stacked against you. You're going to find out things today that may come as a shock with some of these speakers. But I ask you to listen with an open mind. Consider it, critically think for yourself. Don't just listen to something and say, oh, that's it. There was a group in the Bible called the Bereans, and Paul said that they were more noble than the other ones because they didn't just take his word for it. They went to go search these things out for themselves to see, are these things true? So I ask you, listen to what's being said. Make notes. And then go do your own research and think critically for yourself. Don't just accept what the Midianites spew out onto the TV screen. And say, God, how can I partner with you for what you're doing on the earth today? Amen.